Today we're going to talk about DocuSign templates and how to use them. So first thing you need to do is log into DocuSign. From your home screen, you will then click on the yellow New button and select Use a Template. As you can see, all the templates have my name on them. If you see a template that doesn't have my name on it, please don't use it. It is likely not from our office at all. Let's try with the buyer docs. Okay, we'll start with that. You do one template at a time, and you need to select which one you're going to use. Once you've done that, you say Add Selected. Now you see the fields that I have set up to make your life easy. Many times there are two buyers, such as in a couple, right? So you're going to need basic information from each person who will be signing before you can proceed with your document, and that's a name and an email address. So what we're going to do is you need the name, and we'll make me the buyer. Okay. Buyer 2, by the way, can have the same email address as buyer 1. However, you still need to create this separate field, put the different name in there, even if it's going to the same email address. You will then need to counsel your clients that they should open their emails separately in order to sign separately. That's how it has to happen. They can't sign it all from opening just one of the emails. If you only have one buyer, then you can simply remove, I have just scrolled over to the right here, there's an X. You can simply remove buyer 2. Notice I have 28 assigned fields in these documents currently for buyer 2, and what will happen when I delete them is that they will all disappear. Okay, in this case, we will make the buyer agent Winston, and the broker in charge for our purposes today will be Preston. Okay, so we filled out the pertinent information. As you notice as well, I hope you understand a little bit about how to use DocuSign by now, but if you don't, you can see that also in this template I have set up a signing order. The buyers would each be number 1. Okay, so that means emails would immediately go out to them, and they would each have the ability to sign as they see it and as they're ready. Okay, nothing will happen beyond that until both have signed. One or both have signed. Okay, in this case, just the one. Once the buyers have signed, it goes to the buyer agent. That's you. You can finish up what little you need to finish up. What this really allows you to do, the reason I did that was because it allows you to check over the work, make sure it all looks good, and also if the buyer, while reading all the documents, has a question, you can address it very easily, correct your envelope, you can correct any information. Did you misspell something? Did they have something they wanted to change about a number, about this? You can correct it very easily before it goes too far along in the signing process. So I want you, the buyer agent, to make sure that your client is completely happy and has completely signed everything before you're signing anything. So then you sign it, and once you've signed it, it then and only then will go to the broker in charge. When you submit paperwork to the broker in charge, it needs to be a complete packet. Even though the broker in charge only signs in one place, well, the initials in a few places, but he only signs that exclusive right to buy document. But he still wants to see that the paperwork is there and that everything is in order. So before you proceed, the last part that's very important is to go down to the bottom and to name it something. Okay, so you're going to name it something about the buyer's name and buyer docs, something like that, but don't leave it blank, because I believe this is how the template is sometimes saved, with some specific information instead of left blank for all to use. So I believe that's how that's happening. So please put the title. From there, do not hit the big blue send button. That is not, we are not done yet. And while it makes you think, hey, you are good to go, we are not good to go. You have information that you need to add to these documents. So advanced edit is where you go. Now you see the documents that I have already uploaded into this. You see the names of the parties that are about to sign, and you see the title. If you need to type a message to anybody in here, by the way, if you want to include an email message basically with your envelope here, you can simply click that custom email link, and now if you wanted to send a message just to your buyer but not to obviously yourself, or not to Preston or whoever, you can just enter the message here and it will only go to that buyer. Okay, but you may not need to. They may be expecting this. You may have already discussed everything, but I'm just saying that is how you add an email message to this envelope. Now we go up to the very top, yellow next button. Okay, documents are here. And as you can see, we have the LLR disclosure, basic stuff, and there's signature of buyer 1. You know it's buyer 1 because it's up here. You've got a drop-down box at the top left to establish the signing order. There's only one buyer in this instance. If there were two, there would be another signature box right here, and another color would be right here with the other buyer's name. You know that whoever is highlighted here is, when you're dragging any other additional things, that's going to be that signature. It's going to be the buyer's signature right here, not Winston's, not Preston's, because of the color. You can tell by the color. To delete something, just drag it back. Okay, moving on. So this is all set up for you. You don't have to do anything to this. You don't have to do anything to this page as well. We have the initial already established. They should be a client. If for some reason they're not going to be a client, this is something that you need to adjust. But in order to actually write a contract and represent anybody, client it is. So, okay, and the signature is already there. And this is your signature, agent. So it's already set up and ready to go. For the text, in this property address on the inspection disclaimer, you're probably still searching. So you can go ahead and put TBD, to be determined. That is okay. What we're going to have here, the full name, that is the name of the buyer. Whatever shows up here is what's going to go here. And all you have, because that way all they have to do is click on it. They don't even have to type their name. They just click on it when it comes time for them to sign it. And the reason that TBD is okay is that during the buyer paperwork process, we want you discussing every step that's going to happen, and we want you to make sure that they understand about the costs associated with buying a house. And this is some of that cost that may surprise them along the way, and it's better for you not to have surprises. Discuss what's involved now. Okay, so there, the signature is already set up. Wire fraud warning. This is informational in nature. We want them to understand, especially on the buyer side, what can happen, because they are going to be wiring a large sum of money, and we want them to understand that things can happen, and to be very aware and to always be ready to ask questions and to verify. So have them sign that they understand. So now you've got the exclusive right to buy. And okay, I did delete this. There had been something that had been saved in here, and I thought I changed everything back from the template. But okay, so what you'll need to fill out is a basic description of what they're looking for. The reason that we do this is to show the buyer, hey, I know what you're looking for. I get it. Okay, so do some basic. And if you want to add something else in there, then you simply need to add a text box. The reason that the text boxes are blue is because I've done them in the agent's name, your name. The reason I do that, you can always drag another text box in there. The reason I've done that is so that your client is not tempted to change anything in there. Whenever I send anything via DocuSign, I give the client very little room to maneuver as far as adding information. I want them to click on an initial or a signature and be done with it. The more boxes that are in their name, the more opportunity they have to change information, and you want to be in control of the type of information that is included in these legal documents. As you can see, the initials for the buyer and for the broker are already included in here. Nothing for you to do there. Page 2 is very important. You have to fill out either C or D. As we've mentioned before, C is the one that provides you greater protection. So if you're going to fill that out, please fill it out. And if you're not going to fill it out, you might consider deleting these boxes. Otherwise, you might get prompted to continually put something in there. So either fill it out with 0, or not applicable, maybe not applicable, not applicable, or just delete the boxes. That might be the easiest if you're going to choose D as the way that you get paid. Do not forget to put the term of agency in there. Very important. That's the whole point of doing this, is that for a certain period of time, we are under contract together, the buyer and the agent. Okay, the signatures are there. I have already checked off that the broker does have the buyer's permission. If for some reason there are a few very select reasons why a buyer might not want to be identified, then you can go ahead and move that box over there. But generally, in 99% of transactions, we all know who we are. Okay. If there are any contingencies, and you may have one, maybe they're waiting for probate to be settled on a will, and will be ready to buy at that point, but are starting to look right now. Or, you know, there's not much you're going to put there, but if there is something, this is where you put it, and you go ahead and drag a text box and you type in what you need to type. Okay, as you can see, I have text boxes here in the buyer's color. The reason I did that is that I figure they know their email and their phone number off, off the back of their hand. So just let them type it in, and that way you're not responsible for the error if there is an error in typing that, although there shouldn't be, since you're sending it to them and you should know the email address enough to send it to them. But let them type that, and let them type their address. And this isn't as simple as it seems. They may be living somewhere else, and you may actually not know their address right off the bat. So let them type it in, provide that information. And then this is for the broker to sign. If you would like to have your name on it, you don't have to. Nobody's taking your client, and the broker is to sign this. However, if you want to put your name on here, that is absolutely fine. And as the agent, you can add a signature in here. You can put your name if you want, and then your signature. I mean, it's totally fine. What must happen is the broker must sign it. You don't need to sign this, but if you would like to, you very well, certainly, you can. And that is it. And then once you're done with all of this, you hit send, and it will begin its journey to the appropriate parties in the appropriate order. And there you go.